as you know, one of my favorite quotes as I was doing the research for the book is by the British Foreign Minister, Ernst Bevin, from February 1947. Before there's a state of Israel, before there is a war, before there are refugees, before occupation, before settlements, before all the things we are told are the problem, the British Foreign Minister describes the conflict as follows. He says His Majesty's government has come to the conclusion that the conflict in the land is irreconcilable. And he describes how the two groups, the peoples, the nations of the land, the Jews and the Arabs, it's clear that they are peoples and nations, not a religion. He says they each have a top priority, the thing they value above everything else. And he says for the Jews, the top priority, the point of principle, is to establish a state. So the Jews want a state, they want sovereignty, they want to be masters of their own fate. He says for the Arabs, the top priority, and listen to this, he says for the Arabs, the top priority is for the Jews not to have a state in any part of the land. And it's their top priority. Their top priority is not to have their own state. He's not saying the Jews want a state, the Arabs want a state, we just don't know where to put the border. He says as a matter of top priority, the Jews want a state and the Arabs want the Jews not to have a state. And those are the Arabs that are later called the Palestinians. So this is the conflict. And like you said, it's actually quite simple. It's a conflict has always been between the Jewish people wanting a state, Zionism, and the Arabs, the Palestinians, wanting as a matter of top priority for the Jewish people not to have a state, anti-Zionism. That's the conflict, and that's why, by definition, it was already in February 47 irreconcilable. And this is why the Jewish people accept partition and generation after generation continue to offer various opportunities for Palestinian statehood because we care about having our own state and that's what we want. But again and again, Palestinians reject all plans to have their own state if it means that the Jewish state gets to stay because that's their top priority, no Jewish state. Which means, given your vision of peace, the only way we can ever get to peace is for the destruction of the Jewish state to no longer be the top priority of the Palestinians. And for that, of course, like you mentioned, we need broader support from the West, from the Arab world, from the East, for them to send a message to Palestinians to say, if you want to build your state next to the Jewish state, we're with you, we'll help you, we'll fund you, we'll give you whatever you want to build a thriving, prosperous state. But if you continue to mobilize as a matter of top priority that the Jewish people will not have their state, then we're not with you, we're not going to help you. And only when Palestinians understand that they do not have support for their from the river to the sea ideology can we begin to actually move to peace.